A Manhattan jury handed a victory to Kevin Spacey, finding him not liable for the battery of which he was accused by fellow actor Anthony Rapp. Spacey did not make a comment when he left the courthouse just minutes before we came on the air. Rapp accused the Oscar winner of briefly laying on top of him at a bed party, in 1986 when Rapp was just 14. Now, the jury really delivered a quick verdict after hearing closing arguments earlier today. The trial lasted for 3 weeks. Rapp was seeking more than $40 million in damages. Rapp's lawyers told the jury Spacey's sex abuse denials at trial were, quote, inconsistent and not worthy of belief. Lawyers for Spacey said Rapp's allegations of sex abuse, quote, never occurred at a party that was never held. We've got this covered from multiple angles tonight. NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos joining us, as well as NBC's Ron Allen outside the courthouse in New York. Ron, let's start with you. This news just broke a short time ago. What's the latest from where you are right there?
Well, Tom, it appeared to me that Kevin Spacey had a slight smile on his face as he was walking out of the courtroom. He didn't say anything, but you could sense that he was relieved. This is the first time that he's actually been on trial for a sexual misconduct allegation, although there have been as many as a dozen or so people who have accused him of doing something wrong, some kind of abuse. And of course, he faces some serious criminal charges in Great Britain. The trial is supposed to start next year. However, today, a victory. This is the charging document, the verdict sheet. And the first question on it is, did Mr. Rapp prove by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Fowler, Spacey's name, touched a sexual or intimate part of Mr. Rapp? And the answer was no. And that was the first of 8 questions. But as soon as the jury said no to that, they didn't have to go any further. That's why this took all of an hour and 15 minutes or so of deliberation, one of the quickest deliberations you'll ever encounter after 8 days or so of testimony. Both sides presented very starkly different versions of what happened and what didn't happen. Spacey basically said this never happened. There was never a party. And, oh, by the way, he lived in a studio apartment, so there was not even a bedroom where this could have happened, as Rapp insisted. Spacey's lawyer said that Rapp was motivated by jealousy, by envy, that he wanted to raise his profile, and they sort of mocked him, saying that he has gotten more attention during this trial than he has gotten during his entire career. So that's where things are now. It was a really stunning, quick decision. The judge had thrown out already 2 allegations, 2 complaints against Rapp during this trial, and there was 1 remaining. So that's where it is now. Spacey, again, winning something of a victory today, although, of course, he still has a lot of other legal troubles piling up, not just here, but in Great Britain. Earlier this year, he was ordered to pay the producers of the Netflix series House of Cards, where he stars, some $30 million because they claimed they had to cancel episodes and reshoot episodes after firing him because of all the allegations of sexual misconduct that were floating around, not just in other places, but also in that production area. So there's that as well. But at the moment, Spacey is left saying nothing, but again, a lot more fights along the way to come.
All right, Ron, thank you. Ron Allen, who's in New York for us. Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos. Danny, what do you make of the verdict from a legal standpoint? As Ron points out, it was really quick in coming.
Not too much of a surprise. Look, the Child Victims Act is good legislation. I have cases myself under the Child Victims Act. It's a good idea in theory to expand the statute of limitations, to reopen it for victims to have a second shot at cases they otherwise couldn't bring. But it doesn't change the fact that the plaintiff still has to meet their burden of proof. Now, while that's lighter in a civil case, proving things that happened 30+ years ago is going to be hard whether or not you have a statute of limitations. In fact, that's why statutes of limitations exist, because of the problems that the plaintiff ran into in this case. It's a problem of proof of the evidence, proving something or disproving something that happened decades ago.
You know, Ron made the point that Spacey faces other charges of sexual misconduct here in the United States as well as abroad. Could the outcome of today's case impact those cases as well?
In theory, maybe, but practically no. I mean, the reality is that this is a discrete case with its own facts and its own victims or its own plaintiffs. And all of those other cases involve other witnesses and other victims and plaintiffs. But overall, taking a step back and looking at the landscape of Spacey litigation, Spacey is winning. His California case has gone away. His Massachusetts case has gone away. Yes, he has an open case in Great Britain. Of course, that's a challenge. But all in all, I mean, he's mostly come out on top in most of his legal cases, which is a fascinating thing given all the allegations against him. So Spacey has lots of his own challenges still coming ahead.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.